for the touchdown. Unbelievable.
To the Red Zone Recap. We go over everything NFL that happened over the last week, from games, scores, stats, and more. What a week in the NFL. Let's go to Jaden and Zach with the highlights, starting with Game 1. Packers face the Giants, with the Packers winning 27-20.
Thanks, Josh. Jameis Winston got the start for the Giants this week as their quarterback went down with a injury, concussion for, I'm blanking on his name.
Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart, oh my goodness. And Russell Wilson was not going to get the start this week after how poorly he played last week. Jameis Winston went 19 for 29 with 201 passing yards, an interception, and no touchdowns. And Tyrone Tracy Jr., the young running back, 139 scrimmage yards, Devin Singletary, 2 touchdowns. Not a bad game for the Giants.
No, pretty good game for the Giants despite losing their starting QB and their second-string QB not even sniffing the field. Jameis Winston, Brown last year, had a great game. We know him as a gunslinger, likes to work the rock down the field. Unfortunately, without their best weapon. Jordan Love had a pretty solid game, 2 touchdowns, 174 passing yards, bouncing back after a tough game there against the Eagles on Monday night. But yeah, Christian Watson had 2 touchdowns as well on 4 catches. Nobody, I think, saw that one coming, 46 yards. And the Packers will now improve to 6-3 and the odd tie there against Dallas as the Giants fall to 2-9. Good draft position.
Absolutely. And Josh, what's the next game we have on tap?
Moving on to Game 2. We have a pretty high-scoring game from the Bills taking on the Buccaneers. The Bills took the crown today, winning 44-32 in dominant fashion. Now to Zach and Jaden for more on this game.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen and the Bills looked very solid in a much-needed bounce-back win against the NFC South leading Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, Josh Allen racked up 317 passing yards and totaled 6 touchdowns, 3 in the air, 3 on the ground, including a highlight screen pass that we'll talk more about later to Ty Johnson, underrated running back. 50 yards to the house. And Tyrell Shavers, how about him? Filling in for Keon Coleman, who was a healthy scratch, not really producing and being late to practices. Sean McDermott ended up benching him. He had 90 yards, including a huge 43-yard touchdown catch early in the second quarter to ignite that Bills offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And you bring up Josh Allen having those 3 touchdowns on the ground, 3 through the air. Only 2 times has that ever happened in the NFL, both by Josh Allen.
Wow.
Absolutely incredible stuff. I think he's the best quarterback in the league right now, and I'm a Chiefs fan. The Buccaneers losing back-to-back weeks, now dropping to 6-4, while Buffalo will improve to 7-3. Josh, what's up next?
Moving on to our third game, we have the Bears winning 19-17 against the Vikings. Let's go to Jaden and Zach with this game.
Yeah, another Bears last-second win. Caleb Williams with a 50% completion rate. Also, J.J. McCarthy. Both ended up finishing 16 for 32 passing. Weird stuff there. Weird coincidence. Caleb Williams had 193 passing yards, while J.J. McCarthy had 150 passing yards. Bears win on a last-second field goal thanks to Cairo Santos. Any more thoughts on the game for you?
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it earlier. The Bears are looking pretty good. One of the most clutch teams in the whole NFL. I think that's their 4th or 5th comeback win now of the season. They just find ways to get it done, whether it's Colston Loveland bouncing between bodies and finding the end zone against the Bengals a couple weeks ago, or if it's Cairo Santos lining up after he missed one earlier and making it worth it for the Bears.
Yeah.
I mean, they just look like a pretty good team on both sides of the ball, and they currently lead a strong NFC North after the Lions lost last night. We'll talk about that again a little bit later, but yeah, Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze looking like a pretty good young duo. Kevin Byard on the defense as well, looking pretty good, leads the league in interceptions with 5.
Yeah, the Bears now have 2 more wins in their total season. Last year, they improved to 7-3, while the Vikings fall to 4-6, and they are now last in the NFC North. We'll go back to Josh. What's our next game?
Now for our fourth game, we have the Dolphins against the Commanders in an international overtime game. The Dolphins end up on top, winning 16-13. Now to the guys with more on this exciting matchup.
The Dolphins are now winners of 3 straight with a big win over the slumping Commanders without Jaden Daniels and Marcus Mariota in his place. Tua only had 171 passing yards, but Devon Achane with another spectacular game, totaling 165 yards from scrimmage.
Yeah, the rookie Ollie Gordon, despite the big game from Achane, Ollie Gordon was the one who scored the lone touchdown for the Dolphins, as it was a kicking game mostly for both sides. Riley Patterson would end up drilling the game winner in OT off of a Jack Jones interception that set up pretty good field position for the Dolphins. Like you said, Marcus Mariota filling in. He's looked decent at times, but unfortunately, it's just not enough with the Commanders' defense kind of getting tired from times there, and their offense just not looking as good without Terry McLaurin. The Jack Jones interception would end up just sealing the fate there. And now the Dolphins sit at 4-7 and are looking far more competitive than they had to begin this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Dolphins are looking pretty good the last few weeks, better than a lot of people have given them credit for.
Yeah, honestly, and it's built off of mostly a run game without Tua really being that competent on the ground, but he finds a way to get the ball to Achane and good things happen. So good for the Dolphins.
Absolutely. We'll head it back to Josh for the next matchup.
Now, for this game, we have a pretty close game with the Panthers beating the Falcons 32-37. Let's go back to Jaden and Zach with this game.
And the Panthers with another OT win. They win it on a field goal in overtime. Bryce Young had 448 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, no turnovers. Michael Penix on the other side had 175 passing yards, no touchdowns for him. But he ended up leaving the game early due to a knee injury, a potential ACL tear. We don't have current results on that yet, but we will hear more later. Kirk Cousins came in to replace him and ended up only finishing 6 for 14 for 48 yards.
Yeah, prayers up to Michael Penix, hoping it's nothing too serious. Hopefully nothing potentially career-ending. ACLs are always pretty scary. But, yeah, Falcons looking pretty disappointing this year. Fall to 3-7. And Bryce Young, I don't know what he has against these Atlanta Falcons, man. But every time that the Panthers play the Falcons, it seems to be a Bryce Young game that we're talking about. Bryce Young, I think, averaging less than 190 passing yards coming into this game, puts up double that, triple that almost. Just a ridiculous game. And we always talk about it, man. You can't tell who's good in this National Football League. The Panthers lost last week to the Saints, and then they pick up a win here against the Atlanta Falcons on the road in overtime. Another comeback win for the Panthers as well.
I mean,
real good.
You talk about Bryce Young beating up on the Falcons. There are 2 quarterbacks this year that have had over 200 passing yards against the Falcons this year. It's Drake May and Bryce Young, and Bryce Young has done it twice. Crazy. The Panthers improved to 6-5, while the Falcons dropped their 5th in a row, falling to 3-7, and their season is looking a little bit over at the moment.
Yeah, they're going to have to try and work for a draft pick there, hopefully something good. I mean, they have a good young core on defense and on offense. You kind of just got to find the right coaches and coordinators. But Panthers, that close. They're right behind the Buccaneers now after the Bucs lost and the Panthers win.
They're looking good right now. Josh, what do we have next?
Moving on, we have the Rams versus the Seahawks. The Rams came out on top of this game with a score of 21-19. Let's go to Jaden and Zach with more.
Huge implications in this matchup as both teams came in winning 5 straight games, and they were tied for the lead in the NFC West. Unfortunately for the Seahawks, Sam Darnold would end up throwing 4 picks and 0 touchdowns in a crucial rivalry matchup, giving some Vikings fans PTSD from what they saw last year. Matt Stafford, though, threw for another 2 passing touchdowns and no interceptions. That is 22 straight passing TDs without a pick, Zach.
I mean, absolutely incredible. It just seems like the older Matt Stafford gets, the better he gets, which is just so crazy.
Fine wine.
He's 37 years old. He's won a Super Bowl in his later years. And honestly, it looks like the Rams could go back this year. They're now 8-2 leading their division, and the Seahawks still in it, of course, 7-3. Only a game separate them, but Rams looking really good. Seahawks, I don't know. Sam Darnold, he's a bit iffy.
Yeah, it's tough to see that if you're a Seahawks fan. In another crucial game, another crucial divisional game, Sam Darnold just looks like a ghost of himself. Looks like he's still a Carolina Panther or a New York Jet. But, I mean, you sign him for that much money, you're hoping that you can get something big out of him, and I'm sure we will see something big out of Darnold.
I 100% agree. Josh, what do we have next?
Speaking of big divisional games, we have one between the Chiefs and the Broncos. Now, the Broncos did take the win this time with a score of 22-19. Let's go to Jaden and Zach with more on this.
I mean, honestly, it was really, really well-fought game from both sides. It was 6-6 going into the half, and the second half showed a lot more offense from both teams. Mahomes went 29 for 45 with 276 passing yards, a touchdown, interception. Bo Nix, 24 for 37 with 295 passing yards. He didn't have a interception or touchdown, but Pat Bryant had a breakout game, rookie wide receiver for the Broncos. Troy Franklin as well, 84 yards on 4 catches, including the game sealer.
Yeah, Troy Franklin's looked really, really good for the Denver Broncos, who were kind of in need for that true wide receiver 1. I mean, Courtland Sutton's a great receiver, but it's kind of an open ball game over there in Denver. Bo Nix, great passer, and you give him some improved ball catchers like Troy Franklin, who we saw was pretty good in their one playoff game last year against Buffalo. But yeah, this Denver defense is just really, really good. Chiefs offense has been really good, and when you can hold them to just 19 points, that's pretty impressive. I mean, Patrick Mahomes didn't have a bad game at all. Travis Kelce looked pretty solid, but it was just them holding the receivers, Worthy and Rice, I think under 100 yards total.
Yep.
That's kind of tough to win when your receivers have under 100 yards. And yeah, you can kind of give props to Denver's defense more than anything about KC's offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Denver improves to 9-2, having a very strong lead in that AFC West division, while Kansas City falls to 5-5, now 2 games back of the 7 seed in the AFC playoffs. Kansas City hasn't missed the playoffs since 2015, and kind of looking like they might for the first time.
Honestly, never say never. It could go either way here for them.
Yeah. Josh, what do we have next?
For our 8th game today, we have the Ravens versus the Browns, with the Ravens taking the win 23-16. Let's go to Jaden and Zach with this game.
Yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry, another incredible game. He looks to be all the way back. He had 122 yards and a touchdown. Mark Andrews, 67 yards and a touchdown as well. Shedeur Sanders made his NFL debut after Dylan Gabriel went down. Jaden, how did he look?
Well, I'll just tell you this right now. The stats did not look very pretty. I'll be the first person to tell you that as a Browns fan. I mean, obviously disappointed. You see Dylan Gabriel go down with a concussion. Hope all is well with him as well. But everybody cheering for Shedeur Sanders to come into the game there in Cleveland. Didn't look very, very good. But I will tell you, the eye test served a bit of a better purpose than maybe the stat sheet did on the would have been game-tying drive. He looked pretty good. He had some good balls. Harold Fannin ended up dropping a crucial one, and then Gage Larvinin had a ball caught between his wrists, just couldn't position himself well. Sanders is in line to make the start next week against the Las Vegas Raiders, but we'll see what happens there with Dylan Gabriel. But yeah, Ravens pick up another win. Huge for them in the division. Unfortunately, the Bengals could not squeak that one out against the Steelers, so still behind, but 5-5 now, back to 500, and now every single week matters. Browns fall to 2-8. They continue to get the good draft position. Hopefully we get an O-tackle there.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to the Steelers, the Ravens and Steelers will be playing each other 2 times more this season, so lots of time for the Ravens to come back for that division.
Absolutely.
Josh, what do we have next?
For our last game today, we have the Eagles taking the win against the Lions with a score of 16-9. Let's go to Zach and Jaden with this one.
Yeah, feels like another cursed primetime game. Just 27 points in the game. Jalen Hurts, not even a great game. 135 passing yards, a rushing touchdown. He was on a tush push, of course. Goff, not much better, going 14 for 37 with 255 passing yards. Did have a passing touchdown, though. Jahmyr Gibbs had a great game with 146 yards total. Jameson Williams, 97 yards and a touchdown. And Philly, going to 8-2.
Yep.
They're looking really good right now.
Yep, they're sitting at the 1 seed right now, only behind the Rams, only ahead of the Rams. But yeah, Detroit, again, another kind of tough game to drop if you're Detroit. I mean, you're supposed to be kind of fighting in games like this. Putting up less than 10 points is a bit rough. But Philly's defense has looked really, really good. A.J. Brown got a lot more touches this week after he kind of spoke out there on the internet and refused to apologize. Had a meeting with the owner of the Eagles, I believe, as well. Ended up getting 7 catches, but I think less than 60 yards. So that's a first for him in his career. But yeah, just a well-fought game from the Eagles defense. And I'm personally interested to see how they play in the playoffs, man, because they match up pretty well against some of these playoff teams, but you don't know how much longer that can keep on going. You know, you don't know if Detroit's going to put up 9 points again. I mean, Amon-Ra didn't even have 50 yards on in the air. So what happens if he gets going, right? I don't know.
It just looked like a weird Dan Campbell coached game. All of those 4th down plays that normally work just didn't last night. Philly was locked down on them. But yeah, Detroit drops to 6-4. They are now 2nd in the NFC North behind the Chicago Bears. And now let's head to the team of the week.
It's time for your Red Zone recap. Team of the week for Week 11. This team will consist of 1 quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 D lineman, 1 secondary player, 1 lineman, and 1 special teams player. Let's go to Zach and Jaden to build our team.
Yeah, so starting off, we'll start with Bryce Young, who had almost 450 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and no turnovers in their win over the Falcons.
And I think it's appropriate that we go to his wide receiver one, Teteroa McMillan, who had 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, 8 receptions. He was all over the field.
He was. And the other wide receiver that was all over the field, Michael Wilson of the Arizona Cardinals, who had 185 yards on 15 receptions, a career game for him.
And we'll go to a Tampa Bay Buccaneer filling in for Bucky Irving. It was Sean Tucker, who had 140 yards and 3 touchdowns. Incredible. Only had 2 on the season, 3 on Sunday.
Yeah, and another guy who had 3 touchdowns yesterday was Bijan Robinson, who also accumulated over 140 yards. I mean, he just continues to show up every week in, week out.
Great season for Bijan. We'll move on to another Arizona Cardinal. We have Trey McBride, who hauled 115 yards, a touchdown on 10 receptions. Monster game from, in my opinion, the best tight end in the league right now.
Agreeing with you right there. Our defensive player of the week, Myles Garrett, for the second time in a row. 4 sacks. I mean, just incredible stuff he keeps doing.
And on special teams, it was Will Lutz, 5 of 5 on his field goals, 1 extra point, and 54 was his longest. Also the game winner against the Kansas City Chiefs.
And now let's head to the top 3 plays of the week. Josh, what are they?
For our 3 plays of the week, let's get started with our first one. Number 3, we got Ty Johnson with a 52-yard catch and run for a touchdown in Buffalo.
There's any in the NFL. 3rd and 9. Sample the block. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Tucker. He's got room to roam. There's a block on the play by Herbig. You can't kiss him goodbye. Touchdown. Pick 6.
It's the pressure. Watch the pressure coming in. Duggar's up here. He's going to drop into the middle of the field. Watch you blitz, so all of a sudden you got man coverage, but Duggar is in a robber mode. So he's floating in the middle of the field. He's not assigned to anybody. He goes to the middle of the field. So when they go to throw the hot throw, when Flacco goes to make the hot throw to Higgins.
We apologize. Spoiler alert, that was actually our number 1 play. For our next big play, here's I don't really know what it is, unfortunately. We're going to cut to the next clip anyways, and let's figure it out.
That is Andrews under center on 4th and 1. Andrews spinning away, and there he goes! Andrews all the way! Touchdown! What a call by the Ravens!
Charles, Todd Monken is in his bag, is what the young kids would say. And John Harbaugh said to us, you always have to reinvent yourself. So we talked about their struggles on short yardage. A week ago, Mark Andrews gets under center.
That was a big play from the Baltimore Ravens. That was a big touchdown. That's going to end our show today. Thank you all for watching Red Zone Recap for Week 11. We'll be back next week with some more. Let's go to Jaden and Zach with our final thoughts.
Yeah, and yet another weird week in the NFL. Who's kind of a good team? Who's not a good team? I guess we'll maybe figure it out next week.
Possibly.
But for this week, that is all we have for you today. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Red Zone Recap. We'll see you next week.